It is right at 2 o'clock today, everyone. So you are now listening to Blue Collar Sports. We appreciate you guys tuning in, whether you're tuning in through the app, through Twitter, however you're tuning in. We sure appreciate it. I'm your co-host, Seth Newville, joined here with co-host Trevor Brenlin. We run Blue Collar Sports. If you guys know if this is your first time, we are a sports talk show, lots of national sports down here. We're at Boise State University in the Pulse Radio studio. And we also have a special guest today, which we will get to here in a sec. But Trevor, how we doing?
I'm doing fantastic. We're coming off our 100th show last Thursday, and this is number 101, so I'm excited to get back to it. Lots of great stuff going on this weekend and lots to get to, so I'm excited to be back here in the studio.
That's right. It was a busy weekend with All-Star Weekend. That's what we're going to talk right now with our guest. We are joined here with Ryan Seeker. Ryan, how are you doing today?
Doing good, boys. Thanks for having me.
For sure.
Of course. I know you're a fan. We can see you tune in and comment on our stuff, so we want to have you in to talk some hoops. But All-Star Weekend, like we mentioned, was this weekend. Pretty eventful. Nothing huge. There was no Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon type thing, but still good. Joe Harris did win the 3-point contest. That was one of my big takes away.
You predicted that?
That's my guy. I love Joe Harris. So loved seeing that. But what were your guys' big takeaways from All-Star Weekend? The game, the dunk contest, big takeaways.
Yeah, for me, the skill showdowns on Saturday night, they were, that exciting. They weren't the best that we've seen. Actually, the skills where Jason Tatum hit the half-court shot to win it, I thought that was probably the most exciting thing that night. Other than that, not too exciting. Sunday, we saw the All-Star game itself. Your usual All-Star game, I'd say. Very high scoring.
Broke a record for most threes.
Team LeBron, 178. Team Giannis, 164. So super high scoring there. Team LeBron was actually down 20 points in that one. They came back and won it. I predicted Durant to win MVP. He did with 31 points. And Team LeBron got the win, but nothing too exciting. We did see a D-Wade lob to LeBron, of course. We knew we were going to see that.
Legendary.
Of course. Nothing too exciting. Not the biggest All-Star break I've ever seen, but still pretty fine. And it's nice to have these guys take a break in the middle of the season now.
Well, what was your take on it, Ryan? What did you think of the All-Star Weekend?
For the most part, I thought it was just a typical All-Star Weekend.
Yeah.
Nothing too exciting. The one thing I do want to say is I wish they'd add more household names to a dunk contest.
Yeah.
If we wanted to see LaVine, we wanted to see that rematch with Aaron Gordon. Throw in, ask guys like Westbrook, guys we really want to see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool to see guys like Diallo who won it. No one knew who he was, but now everyone now knows who he is.
And I will say that dunk he had over Shaq. That one was
cool.
That one wowed me to see a Vince Carter dunk. With the arm in the rim.
Yeah, that was cool.
That was cool. But yeah, dunk contest all in all, I thought was kind of a disappointment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought so. I want to see, like you said, more household names. I think next year we'll see a Zion come in. Diallo will try and bounce back, repeat, and then even Giannis had a couple words about possibly going into the dunk contest. So I think next year they're going to try and make a show.
Yeah, I thought J. Cole out of anyone maybe won that dunk contest. That was the highlight. I got the Dreamville sweatshirt on right here. But that was the highlight for me was seeing J. Cole. He almost had it too. I didn't even know.
Everyone stood up. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah!"
The reactions was pretty awesome. But a big takeaway now that's gonna move us into our next segment is something that's kind of been going viral. But it was a conversation between Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving that was seen in the hallway. You can't really exactly hear what they're saying. People are saying they're talking. Kyrie held up a 2 at one point, saying maybe referencing 2 max spots in New York, which is where a big favorite destination for Durant if he were to leave. So I want to get into free agency now and get your take. I know we've kind of talked about it a little bit, but in terms of, we'll start with Kevin Durant. There's a lot of big names, big time offseason. But in terms of Kevin Durant, where do you see him landing this offseason?
I think, honestly, if they win a championship this season, the Golden State Warriors, I think Kevin Durant, he should leave. I think he got his rings, and that's ultimately what he wanted. Yeah, he'd get his third. So then he would tie LeBron, and I think that's what he wanted as well. So then if he could go to New York and win another one on his own, he would really cement his legacy as one of the better players ever. But I think we all don't give Kevin Durant that kind of credit because he's surrounded by one of the 2 best shooters ever, including himself. They're all on one team. It's insane.
2 of the top 5, maybe.
So I could see Durant going to the Knicks. Yeah, I could see him going home to the Wizards. That'd be pretty cool.
I would not mind that at all.
Russ doesn't want him back in OKC. He's got Paul George.
I think
they're killing
doing
it.
Fine.
Everyone always talks about the Lakers, but I don't think he'd want to team up with LeBron. I think he wants to beat him more than anything.
And I want to get your take on that because I know you're obviously a big LeBron guy, and a lot of LeBron fans out there hate Kevin Durant because of what he did. So do you think that would go down well with Laker fans, with LeBron fans, if Durant were to leave and join up
If
there?
he joins LeBron?
Would you be open to that?
Absolutely, 100%. Why not? More rings is coming for LeBron, and he never passed him. So I'd be open to that, but that's not going to happen. Kevin Durant is staying in Golden State. There's not going anywhere. Why go somewhere else and try and win like he did in Oklahoma City when he couldn't? Stay in Golden State, win as many rings as he can. The thing hurting LeBron over Jordan right now is that he doesn't have as many rings. Durant's just going to put up as many as he can.
It's half as many.
And yeah, but look at everything else. So Durant, he should stay. Get every single ring he can get. He's already on one of the best teams of all time, and just there's no reason to leave.
It makes sense.
But then it opens up the question because another guy's free agent is Klay Thompson, which I know you think
Now that's
he's
a
gonna
different
leave.
question. Now,
But now if you go Durant, he's already said he's taking a pay cut to be at Golden State this year. He's not on a supermax deal. He's taking a pay cut to allow them to go get DeMarcus Cousins, to give Curry that supermax. But now he's been saying he wants a max contract. And so if you already have Curry there, you know they're going to keep Draymond around for a while, and then you give Durant supermax. There's not a lot of money left there for Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
Where are the best fits for him to go at that point?
Los Angeles is absolutely the
I'm
best
with you,
fit.
Trev.
LeBron, he needs his shooters. There's no better shooter than Klay Thompson possibly in the corner, and he could get his max spot that he wants. And then his thing is that he's always going to be compared with Steph, but maybe 1B right behind Steph.
Yep.
If he could go to LA, win with LeBron, and beat the Warriors, he could win more championships and possibly be the best
He'll
shooter
never
of all
be Steph
time.
Curry.
So if he goes to LA and does something like that, I think it could further his legacy than it is already. But I don't know what his relationship is with LA and and LeBron, obviously, and I know he likes Golden State and Steph Curry. So I don't know exactly how that could happen, but I think that'd be the best fit for sure.
Are you going to say the Lakers as well?
I am. I think it just makes perfect sense because when LeBron was on the Heat and he had Ray Allen, he could just always kick it out to him.
Saved his career.
Bosh could shoot. It just the Lakers need that spot up catch and shooter. Kuzma
Yeah.
can do it, but he's still pretty raw.
Yeah.
Ingram, he's kind of like he needs to create his own shot. I mean, Josh Hart's there, but he's not Klay Thompson. They need that 3-and-D guy that is that workhorse catch and shooter.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
That's why I'm a big Wizards guy, but I'm surprised they didn't pursue Bradley Beal. I thought he would have fit that role good as well. And Wizards are in a weird situation that I thought it would have made sense. I know you were adamant about
It would have been
Bradley
nice,
Beal.
obviously, but they got 2 spots for free agents next year, max contract. So if they brought Bradley Beal in, it just wouldn't have worked out like
Right.
that. So they're hoping that they could get 2 max guys like Klay and possibly someone else like a Jimmy Butler or Kawhi Leonard.
And I love Bradley Beal, but I would take Klay Thompson if I did.
Yeah.
I do see the Warriors finding a way to make it work to get Durant and Klay and keep all 4 of them. I think DeMarcus Cousins will walk.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. I was watching Colin Cowherd and talked about there's the 8 big free agents this year. And there's big names there. 3 of them are Warriors with DeMarcus Cousins, Kevin Durant, Klay Thompson. Then Kemba Walker was in there as well, which kind of is a name no one's really talking about, but definitely an impact player. Definitely someone to pay attention to. And then, of course, Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, and I mean there's a lot of big names there. Out of all those guys, who's the most likely to leave?
I think the Warriors are most likely to stay. Kawhi Leonard, I don't know if I see him in Toronto.
You
Kyrie,
just never know with Kawhi Leonard.
no.
Yeah, he doesn't talk.
Kyrie Irving, I do believe will stay in Boston.
Really?
I think he will. I don't see him going anywhere else. He wants to win, and Boston's the best place to win right now. And Jimmy Butler, I could see him.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler was another one.
I could see him going to L.A. I could also see him staying in Philadelphia. I don't see any other team other than those 2.
Trev,
Yeah.
I got a question for you.
Let's hear it.
So, if Boston gets booted in the second round, does Kyrie stay?
Ooh. I do think he stays because they're going to try and work out a deal for Anthony Davis. But
They'd have to clear Gordon Hayward, which if
And I would.
the Pelicans would be willing to accept. They're not paying anybody.
And I definitely would. And then they'd have to get rid of a young guy, probably Jaylen Brown or someone else. Kyrie would leave if KD goes to New York, but I think it would have to be Kevin Durant's choice first before Kyrie.
Right.
And I just don't see that happening. But I think Boston is definitely in the Anthony Davis sweepstakes, so they're going to try to work out that deal in the summer.
I think Boston's probably the favorite for Anthony Davis right now, but I think the most realistic scenario is they get Anthony Davis but not Kyrie back, which I think if I'm a Boston fan, I would almost take that because then you could keep your young core. I mean, if you're going to get Anthony Davis, you're going to have to give up Gordon Hayward obviously to clear that contract, and Pelicans would either buy him out or keep him. You'll probably have to give up Jaylen Brown and a pick or two. But, I mean, you saw them last year make it without Kyrie Irving. I don't think Kyrie Irving fits Boston. I love Kyrie Irving as a player. I love Boston. But Brad Stevens' system is built around moving the ball, and Kyrie's a guy likes to dribble for 15, 20. I think that's why him and LeBron struggle at times because they're both ball-dominant players. And so I think if I'm Boston, I think it just makes sense for Kyrie to leave. I actually see him as the favorite to leave out of all the free agents. Right. But I do agree that Kevin Durant dictates free agency. He runs the whole thing.
He'll be the first domino to fall in free agency, kind of like how LeBron was this past summer. Yeah. Everyone was waiting to see what he did, and he went to LA, and then everyone else worked out their deals. So I think this year is definitely going to be Kevin Durant, and after that, then the whole platform is going to fall.
Well, how do you see him playing out, Ryan?
I actually kind of agree with you. I think Kyrie will leave Boston. I think this is a good move for Boston to get rid of Kyrie because last year they took the Cavs to 7 games without Kyrie. Remember that?
Yeah.
And right now they're sitting at the 4 seed. They're still kind of trying to figure out what plays better, who needs more minutes. They're still trying to get the screws tightened.
Right.
So I do think Anthony Davis should go to the Celtics, and then I think Kyrie goes to the Knicks.
Yeah, that's my most realistic. It'd be interesting to see though if Durant doesn't go to the Knicks, if Kyrie wants to go to the Knicks, if he wants to go play with. I mean, they're the favorite to get the number 1 pick, so they'd probably have Zion, which we'll talk about later on. But Kevin Knox, it'd be interesting to see if I heard Kyrie Irving this year talking about how these young players are struggling to know what it's like to win right now and how he's there to build them. But it'd be interesting if he wants to go to New York and do the exact same thing over again. I'm definitely not as talented of a team as Boston is. So that's why I think Kevin Durant dictates everything. If he goes to New York, I think Kyrie for sure goes. But if not, it's going to be interesting to see what Kyrie Irving does.
Yeah, for me, Kyrie Irving's a great player, but I don't see him as a true leader and number 1 player on the team. At Boston, he's got so much talent around him that at times he doesn't really need to be. In Cleveland, before LeBron got there, he couldn't really do much. He was very talented, did great stuff, but they never even could get anywhere. And then once LeBron came over, he kind of had to learn his role and learn what it was about. So if he goes to New York and it's just him, I think it'd be a really weird fit. I don't know how good they would be, even with their young players like a Zion and Kevin Knox. But if a player like Kevin Durant or Kawhi Leonard or someone like that came over, I think then they would really click and it would work out a lot better.
Speaking of Kawhi Leonard, I want to get you guys' opinion before we head off to break. Kawhi Leonard, another free agent. Also, I mean, he's always under the radar. He's a quiet guy. He doesn't talk. We know that. But Kawhi Leonard, he's a free agent. Where are the best spots and where are some dark horses? Because I truly would not be surprised by anything Kawhi Leonard does because we don't know. We don't know what he's thinking. And so nothing would surprise me. So where are the best spots for him and where are some dark horses?
I'll start out with it. I could obviously see him staying in Toronto. That's where he just got traded to.
Favorite.
We'll see how much he likes playing there and what they do in this postseason. I do think the Lakers are still a great chance to get a piece at him. They were trying to get him earlier last year before the Spurs traded him. But also, I think the Clippers are now maybe the heavy favorites. They cleared out space and all their players, so they're going all in on these big time free agents. It's LA. And you're going to have to go back and forth with LeBron for that city. So Steve Ballmer's doing a really nice job with that team, trying to get stars to come in there. And if he can land Kawhi Leonard, I think that'd be the first big move they can make.
What about you, Ryan?
I think the moves that do make sense are the 2 LA teams, Clippers, Lakers.
He's an LA guy.
He really wants to be in LA. Like this summer, we've seen a lot of speculation. Toronto, if the Toronto Raptors go to the finals, I'm not surprised if he resigns.
Yeah.
he fits in well there. He's an MVP candidate. He's playing great ball. He seems to be happy. But if I had to pick a dark horse, you guys ready for this one?
Let's hear it. I got one too.
Denver Nuggets.
Ooh,
Very-
that is a dark horse.
It
That
is.
one did not come to mind.
They are balling, and if they get someone next to Jokic who's a perennial superstar, they
Right.
can contend with the Warriors.
And they're already one of the better defensive teams, so you just add Kawhi Leonard there, then it could be pretty scary.
He can guard
And he's a
KD.
quiet guy. He could fit in Denver. They don't make a lot of noise down there. I was gonna say that Denver definitely makes a lot of sense, and I may look at a team in the Eastern Conference, and that's the Milwaukee Bucks. This is also a team that I think is in the Klay Thompson's future. I don't think Klay Thompson's a guy where he needs the spotlight. He's already proven that in Golden State.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be in the big flashy cities. So I think if he goes to a place like Milwaukee and plays with Giannis, where he's still going to get a ton of shots up because they don't have shooting. That's kind of the one thing they like. Chris Middleton's a good shooter.
Yeah.
But he's also a free agent this year. So they're going to have a lot of money freed up. And so I think Milwaukee could make a lot of sense for either Kawhi Leonard or Klay Thompson. I think they could be big dark horses on a big name this year.
And even Jimmy Butler I'd throw in there too.
And
I think he's
Jimmy
done
Butler
very well.
would fit there well.
That's interesting. I could see both of those teams.
Yeah. I mean, even the Pacers, they need
I
someone
love
else.
the Pacers.
Yeah.
I love what they're doing.
They're close.
Yeah, they got a great style that they're running down there. They play team ball, great to watch. But we're gonna head off to break real quick now. Touched up on All-Star Weekend. You're listening to Blue Collar Sports. We talked some free agency, but stay tuned. We got lots of NBA talk. We got some draft prospects to talk about coming up. So we'll be right back after this break.